Hi, I'm Philip from Optimize Lab, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up a Google Analytics account so that you can begin tracking user data on your website. So to start off with, go to Google and type in Google Analytics, or in the address bar type in analytics.google.com. So we're going to visit that website first, and it's going to ask you to sign in with your Google account. So if you just type in either your Gmail or your Google account here and click next and then log in. So then we're going to click set up for free, and we're going to type in an account name. So I'm going to type in the account name for this particular account that I'm setting up. And it's going to ask you a series of questions about data sharing. I'm happy to share all of this data. Make sure you take a look through this and make sure you're happy. And if so, then you can check all of these boxes and click next. And then it's going to ask you what you'd like to measure. Now, in this case, I'm measuring a website, not an app. So the first option is the most applicable website name. So I'm just going to insert the, firstly the website URL, and for the website name, we can also use the URL if we want, or we can give it another name. And then industry, you can add in the most applicable industry. So I'm going to select jobs and education. Time zone, you want to enter the time zone, for example, that your business is located in. In this case, it is a US website, so I'm then going to click create. So now there are a number of agreements that we need to go through, so I've already looked through these previously when setting up accounts, so I'm just going to click accept. So when you're happy to do so, click accept on those, and then you will be inside Google Analytics. So we've just set up this account. Okay, excellent. So the next thing to do is to ensure that this tag is set up on your website. So we're just going to go through that. One of the essential steps once you've set up a new Google Analytics account is to ensure that you've added the global site tag to your website. And the reason it's called a global site tag is that it's intended to go on every single page of your website. This will be done differently depending on what CMS or content management system your website is set up using. For example, it may be you're using WordPress or you're using Joomla, and depending on how your website has been set up, adding this code will be done differently. If you're not familiar with how to add code to your website, then you can speak to your developer about doing this for you. Now, it's important that this code here, so this is the global site tag, all of this text is placed within the head tag. So it should be placed just before the closing head tag, and this is what the head tag looks like here within the code of your website. So this particular client is using ClickFunnels. So I'm going to show how to insert this code using ClickFunnels, just to give you an idea of what this process looks like. So this is the ClickFunnels account for the landing page, and I'm just going to click in the top right hand corner on settings, and that's going to open up a page where I can add the tracking code, and we can see here head tracking code. So this is going to insert this code within the head tag of the page, and now what we need to do now is go down and click save and update settings. So the next thing we're going to do is check to make sure that that code has been successfully added to our page, and we're going to do that using Google Tag Assistant. It's a Chrome extension that's free to download. So once you've installed that, you can just click on it in the top right hand corner and click enable once you're on your landing page. Then reload your landing page, just click the refresh button, and you can then check which tags are present on your landing page, and we can see here that the global site tag that we've just added is present at the top here. So that's all been done successfully. So now that we've set up the global site tag on our website, the next essential task is to make sure that we've set up goal tracking within Google Analytics. And this is going to enable us to track when visitors to the website carry out very important actions, such as filling out a form or making an inquiry. Now, in this case, we're going to be setting up, or I'm going to be setting up tracking for a particular action on my client's website to use as an example. So what we want to track here is when somebody clicks on Get a Live Demo, and then specifically fills out the form. So once they click Get My Demo Started, they're going to be redirected to this page. This is what's known as a thank you page or a confirmation page. So we're going to be tracking when a visitor to the website then gets to this page, because if they get to this page, that means they filled out the form. So this is what we're going to be tracking as our goal. So if we go back to Google Analytics, in order to track that, the first thing you want to do is, if you're in this section, click the back button, and that'll take you back to the main Google Analytics menu. And in this right-hand menu, we're going to click on Goals. We're then going to click on New Goal. So we're going to set up a new goal, and we're just at the bottom here, we're going to click on Custom, and then click Continue. We're going to enter a goal name. So in this case, it's a demo request. You can put anything in here. It's just a label for yourself. And we're going to click on Destination. And you'll notice here there's an example, thanks.html. Because that's typically what people will do. They'll have a thank you page. So we're going to click Continue. And then we're going to put destination begins with, because not the page is going to begin with /thank you. And that is what is in the URL of our thank you page. Now, in this case, we're not going to assign a monetary value, but you have the option of doing that if a particular inquiry for you typically commands a certain amount of revenue for your business. You can also have the option of a funnel if this is part of a funnel for your website. Now, importantly, you can also verify the goal. This will tell you retrospectively how many conversions you would have had within 7 days. Now, this is if you were already using Google Analytics and this is not a new account. So because this is a new account, in this case, I'm not going to verify. So I'm just going to click on Save. So that goal has now been successfully set up. Now, another thing that's very important when you've set up a new Google Analytics account is to know how to add new users. Now, you may have a web developer, or you may have somebody working on your marketing campaign who needs to access your Google Analytics account. So to give them access, you can go ahead and click on the left-hand menu, Account User Management, and you can then go ahead and add somebody to the list of managers. So we're going to add a user, and we're going to type in their email address here. And you want to make sure this is checked, so it will notify them and give them access. Now, if the person's going to be making changes to your Google Analytics account, you want to make sure you give them edit access, because by default, they will have only read and analyze access, and that will not enable them to make any changes. They can only review the data, which, if they're going to be working on your account, won't be sufficient. So you want to make sure you include edit access and possibly also manage users if they may have to add other members of their team. So once you've done that, in the top right hand corner, click on Add. And that will have sent an email to that individual notifying them, and they'll then be able to access the account. Now, since you've set up a new account, you won't yet have visitor data populating within Google Analytics. It will take time for that data to generate once people start visiting your website and that starts getting tracked. However, I'll just show you a preview of what you can expect to see in the future. So once your website has been receiving a good amount of traffic while having Google Analytics installed for a period of time, you can then review the performance data. So to do that, you can select from one of these menus here. So for example, you can select Home. And this is going to give you a general overview of what's happening in your website. So you'll be able to see in real time how many users are on your website right now. And for a specific date range, you can see the number of users. Once you have revenue tracking installed, you'll be able to see how much revenue you've generated, the conversion rate, so how many people have carried out one of those actions that you're tracking as a goal. You can see the conversion rate, so in this case it's 3.7%, and you can see the number of sessions, and interestingly you can also see where people have navigated to your website, from which country they're located in, which time of the day people generally visit your website. So you can get a general overview of what's happening. Now, you can also see more detailed reports for each of these areas. So for example, if we click on acquisition, we can see where is our traffic coming from, which channels is it coming from. So we can see for this particular client, paid search is the primary channel that they're generating their traffic from. After that, it's organic. So people making a search in Google and then visiting their website after clicking one of the organic listings in the search results. Then after that is direct. So somebody who directly types in their URL, their website URL into the Google or the address bar and then visits their website that way. So there are a number of very useful reports here that you can take a look through to get an understanding of who's visiting your website and what they do. So in the behavior tab, you can get an idea of what people are doing once they hit your website. So you can see the pages that they are landing on, which are your most popular pages, how much time do they spend on those pages, what's the bounce rate, so the percentage of people who visit that page and then immediately exit that page and go to another page. So a lot of very useful information. Site speed is also a very important area to look at because the conversion rate on your website is going to be impacted by how quickly your pages load. People are not going to wait around for a long period of time, so you want to make sure you have a fast loading page, and you can get an idea of how quickly your page is loading on different browsers, and that will tell you which areas you need to look to optimize your website. So this is kind of a sneak peek into what kind of data you can expect once you start getting those visitors to your website while you're using Google Analytics. So I hope this video has been useful and informative and will help you to track all of that useful data from visitors to your website. If it has been, then please give the video a like. I'd really appreciate it. And feel free to subscribe if you want any additional tips and advice on how to get the most from your website and how to get the most from any marketing campaigns that you're running. Thanks for watching.